I actually grew up as a competitive swimmer. And you ask any competitive swimmer, running is a form of punishment.
At that time, I bought my first pair of shoe, and it was quite expensive. So then I was like, I had to use it.
And as a coach for me is, if you need to wake up early to get your sunrise selfie shot of you with your sweat, after a morning run, and that motivates you to get out of bed, well done, do it, please get it done.
Especially when I'm really tired. There's always this existential thoughts. Why did I? So it started from why did I sign up for this?
What's going on, guys? Do we need to do this? So for the longest time, I've been toying with the idea of signing up for a popular fitness event, but I killed the idea when I found out that I had to run more than 500 meters between stations. Running for the bus, I can. Running as a sport, skip me lah, okay? But becoming a runner has always lingered, especially now that it's a thing. I see others joining run clubs and signing up for marathons and triathlons and even flying overseas to do them. So on today's episode, which we are recording on Global Running Day, I have two runners to help me understand why they do it and what keeps them coming back for more. Arthur and Mel, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. And just some context for our viewers. Arthur, you are the founder and head coach of Elevate Performance, which is an endurance coaching business. And you've also completed multiple Ironmans, which is just the tip of the iceberg of your background, right? Of what you do. A little bit. We'll get into it, all of it, in a bit. And Mel, you've just started long distance running as recently as 2023. And last year you completed 1 full marathon and 3 half marathons. Okay, well, I'm not the runner in this group, but I need to ask, would you say you're both hardcore athletes?
No.
Is hardcore the right word? Is athlete the right word?
No.
I don't think so. You don't have to be serious to do. You don't have to be a serious athlete or a serious runner to do something that's serious. I try to make it I surround my day around running. Even though it's a long day, at the end of the day, I still, I get to run.
Okay, hang on there for a second. After this, running is your job. Is it part of your job?
Part of my job. Well, coaching is my job. I guide people now to better their swim, bike, and run. I don't run as much anymore. I really run because I need to chase after my toddler. Yeah, so now she has learned how to ride a bike.
Ooh, okay. She's a mini you.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got to keep up, right?
Yeah.
So now I got to run because of that.
Okay. How would both of you describe your relationship with running and how did you get involved in it? Yeah, Arthur?
Love-hate relationship with running.
Oh.
I actually grew up as a competitive swimmer. And you ask any competitive swimmer, running is a form of punishment.
How so?
So if you're late and you didn't do a lap properly or you were misbehaving, you end up you got to go do a lap around the pool, right? So swimmers don't run, but eventually all boys got to serve national service, so you got no choice but to run. And then I picked up triathlon later on in my life, and running became the last leg of a triathlon. So, you slowly build this relationship with running. So that's my story with running.
All right, Mel, you only started 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What's the deal? What were you doing before you got into long distance running?
So I was just gymming. I was just keeping fit, here and there. And I think it was when I started my full-time job. I was deskbound. And I feel I kind of had this energy still in me. I was I'm not gonna sit down and kind of just work for someone. I have this energy, and I think I am quite competitive in nature also. And I think that's when I started to pick up running. It was the perfect outlet. And also I think at that time I bought my first pair of shoe, and it was quite expensive. So then I was I had to use it.
You had to. So which came first, the need to run, or you bought the shoe first?
No, it was the need to run. I was kind of restless, so then I was you know what? I'll just buy a shoe. And I got I searched up what was the best shoe? It was what can make me go fast, Yeah, and it was a really expensive shoe. I was I'll just try this on.
Why did you buy a really expensive shoe?
Because I didn't know. I had no knowledge. At the time, I just got into this, and I was what's the best shoe for running in the Google search, and then the first thing is this shoe.
You turned to Google.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone that was running at that time, So I just turned to Google.
Did you not run in the gym? Because you said you were working out, but you didn't like do the treadmill thing.
No, I wasn't. It was just like lift weights,
Lifting weights and then
it's just
no
lifting
running.
weights. No like cardio or anything. It was like,
So I'm just in the gym like lifting weights, so weight training, right? But running is like, nah, just skip it.
Don't
But
touch me.
Huh? Don't? Yeah, it's like treadmills. Yeah, well, just like move on. But you started when you were really young. So you were a swimmer, as you mentioned, you were a swimmer. What is the advantage of getting into that mode like really young? Like I'm swimming, I'm running, and compared to like if you start when you're a little bit older.
Probably just developing that mindset. Sports really teach you how to handle like adversities. When things don't go to plan, you get injured, you gotta work around things. I think when I was in competitive swimming when I was younger, really set the discipline. And I think that kind of, transferred to when I'm a little bit older now.
So can you start at any age, this running thing?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Not to drop names, but I've witnessed one of my athletes, smoker his entire life, suddenly went like, you know what, I now want to live, a healthy and, athletic life, picked up Ironman racing, 60 plus now, ends up running, beyond multiple marathons, ultra marathons. So quite inspiring. So anybody can do it. Yeah.
I mean, I have to ask, because you see different kinds of people, and Mel, you started like just one day you woke up in a way. What changes people's mindset about the running game? Like, I didn't do it, then now I wanna be that person. Like, do you have any insight? Maybe Mel, were you like watching other people perhaps?
yeah, I think it was there's like suddenly like, this like rise in like running and like run clubs, and like you see in social media, it's like everyone's running nowadays.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're running in Marina Bay, they're running around like Botanic Gardens, and it's a club. And
Yeah.
was that what inspired you?
I think it's like seeing people like do things that you would never like imagine yourself doing, like, oh my God, like a 10K. Back then I was like, that was really far. Like, I think that's how I started it. I just signed up for a race, I was like, you know what, I think I'll just try for like my first like 10K. And then at that time, like that distance feels like impossible, like I couldn't run like 1 km, like one.
You did it without training?
I mean, of course, I did like some like runs
Before the thing.
before like the 10K. This was like at the end of 2023. Yeah, I signed up for my first 10K. I was like, oh, I signed up anyways. That's like half the work done for me to start running. Yeah.
Okay. Arthur, you've coached people.
Yes.
What is the thing that clicks for them when they're like, Arthur, help me run?
I think everybody has a very different story and reason why they pick up sports or running in that sense. It can be chasing after a new personal best, for a timing finish, but I think everybody has their own story. Maybe it's therapy for them to escape from real life. But I've seen it all. It's quite interesting. Have you been to the start line of like a typical running event?
No.
Like
That's not me.
You were saying like only people do you need to be a serious runner? Have you seen people like dressing in tutus and like dressing up in Spider-Man costumes and all sorts of different Marvel characters and joining like a full marathon in like a banana suit, in a dinosaur suit?
And they commit to it, right? It's like all the 42 kilometers, they're like on.
Yes. You don't have to take yourself too seriously, honestly. Yeah. And the social media thing, yeah, exactly. Like it has really boomed. Everybody is posting about it. And as a coach for me is, if you need to wake up early to get your sunrise selfie shot of you with your sweat, after a morning run, and that motivates you to get out of bed, well done, like do it, please get it done, as a coach.
Do you find that people do it for show versus like they're very serious about sport, or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. You have your own reasons. If it's for your own Strava, like, etc., or you're going to running clubs because you want to meet other people.
Yeah.
Right? It's the new
dating thing.
It is the new dating app.
Apparently. Right?
Yeah. Right? But it gets you to move. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, so since we're talking about run clubs, it's also partly one of the reasons why I wanted to do this episode, because I had a trainer on and she had her own run club. And how important is community when you were starting this journey? Like, Mel, were you running alone when you were training for your marathons?
Yeah, actually, when I first started running, like for the first like 6 months, I was like on my own, and I really didn't know anyone else like who was like running, and I guess it was really intimidating because if you start from scratch, you kind of don't consider yourself like, oh, am I like serious enough? Am I really a runner? To like be worth joining like other people to run. Like, what if like I can't keep up with them? There's always like these thoughts that, it's like, oh, I'm not that serious. It's like, I'm not like good enough to run with like others. But yeah, I think it was like the best decision that I've made. It got me like, running my first marathon.
As in the part where you were training alone?
No, like I didn't sign up until I started running with people and saw that like, oh, this is actually really good. And it's not like they told me to, oh, you should sign up for a marathon, or like, it's like I chose to like sign up by myself, and that all these other people were there to like support me and believed in me that like, oh yeah, you can like definitely do it.
So it's like a support group for runners.
Yeah,
and they run.
It is. I think it's like the most like, I would say like it's the most supportive like community out there. And it doesn't really matter like if you're slow, if you're fast. It's like you're just there for each other.
Actually, I want to know in a run club, right? Because my worry when if and it's a big if I sign up for it, is what if I'm the last person? Then like I'm holding up everybody, right? Which is what you said. Like, do you run faster and then you push yourself? What is the dynamics of a run club?
So run clubs, has different programs, right? So say for example, with Adidas Run Club, we run by time. So let's say we are starting right here. We're gonna select this particular route, and everybody's gonna run 20 minutes out and 20 minutes back for a 40 minutes run. You can be walking 20 minutes out, turn around, come back. We're all gonna finish at the same time. And we're all gonna see each other and wave at each other and give each other high fives after we U-turn. So there's actually many ways we can design the activity so that it's actually very, very inclusive, right? At my run club with Elevate, we do it at a running track. And the running track is 400 meters. We see each other looping around, the hamster wheel, going round and round and round. It's called the Oval Office, right? And that's where we do a little bit of a higher intensity run called interval run. But again, the community spirit that we are talking about, it's really seen there because it's like common suffering, right? And you're cheering for each other. Come on, push one more lap, push a little bit harder. And without that community and you do it on your own, sometimes can be a little bit tough, but I guess it works for different people. Some people use running as their own, little getaway. So they are in their own space, they're listening to a podcast. So the community runs are great for certain types of running. Yeah, but if you're trying to get away, of course, running club.
Just run by yourself.
Exactly,
Yes.
you run by yourself, right?
Yeah. I like this thing that you say was common suffering because that's how I feel every time I run. Like literally 5 seconds in, I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. Like I have to get off this run. Like, but what is the common misconception that people have about running that you think that should be debunked?
I think that you need to be running a certain distance to call yourself a runner. So obviously we are getting into like marathon season. There's always the signature Singapore event, the Standard Chartered Singapore Marathon. Mm-hmm. But you don't have to be a marathon runner to be classified as a runner. Yes, the marathon is getting really, really big. Everybody is kind of trying to challenge themselves with longer distances, even beyond the marathon. But even if you are like a 5K runner or even like a 2K runner, you're still a runner, right? You don't need to have that medal dangling around your neck to be classified as one. All sorts of different ability levels for that.
Yeah, I agree. Also with like pace as well. Like you don't have to be fast to like be a real runner. You can go at any pace as well.
But I guess with marathons, there's a timing element that people want to achieve, right? So how do you get faster to get better, I guess, at finishing the time? Yeah. Any tips?
I guess that's
I'm in no position to give advice.
Maybe let's ask the coach. Like,
look,
what?
I guess at the end of the day, when you first sign up for a marathon, if you're brave enough to sign up for a marathon, that first effort that you attempt, the first attempt is going to already be a personal best, right? And once you get hooked, there's always that desire to better yourself. So there are many aspects that you can improve your marathon timing with. So some people find buying new shoes as the reason, I'm going to get this new fancy shoe and it's going to make me run faster. Yes, fact, true. Some people try to refine their training program, right? And that's what I do as a coach. I help guide the athletes. I design training programs for athletes to follow to then better prepare themselves for exam day, right? Some people focus a little bit on like their nutrition, right? Little marginal gains to help them improve their timing. Yeah. So like it's the whole idea of trying to better yourself. I think that's what makes endurance sport interesting, because with tens and thousands of people at the start line, you're not going to be on the podium, right? It's really reserved for those very,
shut
very
it down right
Yeah. I mean, so your biggest competition is yourself.
Yeah.
Is yourself. And I think that's what draws people to, running and endurance sports.
I mean, that's so sad. But okay, true. It's true. When do I know I'm ready? Or should I just take the plunge and just sign up and then figure it out when I get there on that day itself? Is that a good idea?
No, I mean, I don't think you'll ever be ready. I think it's like any time is the right time to start. Like it's not like one day you wake up and like, oh, I think I'll run a 42 tomorrow. Like it takes time. Like you still have to start building, even though like you have no running experience. And then, okay, at the end of the year, I want to run a marathon. You're just like, that's like the first step. It's like you put your mind to it first, then it just snowball from there.
Yeah, I agree. I am sure everyone has signed up for a race, and at certain point in their preparation for it, it's like, oh dear, like I have made the wrong decision. You start questioning life choices, whether you make the right decision to sign up for this marathon. I think that's the case for everybody's first marathon. And I think I felt it as well. Like, matter of fact, I just felt it like 2 weeks ago when I signed.
What were you doing?
I did this race called Xterra Japan. It's an off-road triathlon. And on a good day, only like 10-20% of people finish, right? So it happened so that on Japan that day when I raced, it was a bad day. And actually no one finished.
Like the weather was?
The weather was so bad, no one finished, right? And as I reflected on it, it is the resolve to just try it, right? Just put myself out there, do something scary. You don't know what's the outcome. Yes, I didn't finish it. So did everybody else at the start line. They didn't finish it. And I think we rallied together and then just found a resolve that, hey, when you overcome something like this, whether you cross the finishing line or not, there's something to be learned. Yeah.
Is there like an event that happened when you're running that stays with you about what this running journey is like? Like, something that epitomizes what running is about? Or is there anything that happened along the way that made you that stays with you in your running journey?
I think, like with every race, like it's like, you're like battling with yourself. It's like your legs are tired and your mind is like telling you to stop. And I think what's so great was like when there's like strangers on the sidelines just like shouting at you. It's like, go, you can do it. I think that makes like a huge difference. And I think seeing everyone else like racing alongside you, there's this sort of like silent, like unspoken like conversation, we can get through this. Yeah, I think it sticks with me.
Yeah, that's nice. I have the privilege of being part of different running groups. Running is very much about yourself, right? But I think in the recent few years, since I started coaching, I also ended up being a running guide. So for many years at the Stanchart Marathon, I've been running as a blind runner guide. So I bring along our visually impaired runners to do Stanchart Marathon. So not just for myself, now I'm running so that others could as well cross the same finishing line. Yeah, and just last month I participated in this thing called Project 1000. So we ran 1,000 kilometers in Philippines. And we did the same thing last year as well through Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. And it was all for charity, right? And again, you realize that, hey, you can actually run, inspire people, and actually do good, right? And when we saw the kids' face light up because we were bringing in donation, we were bringing in scholarships at the school, actually running goes beyond just you pounding the pavement. Yeah.
So this is your thing, right? You coach people into running. Personally, for yourself, are there any like mental roadblocks where you have said, I can't do this? Like, what is going through your head when you hit a low? Because I'm sure at 42 kilometers, you're not having, just the highs, right? But what are some of like the mental roadblocks that gets in your head when you're training or when you're actually doing a marathon?
I think like, especially when I'm like really tired, there's always this like existential thought. It's like, it started from like, why did I sign up for this? Then you start questioning like all your life's decisions, what got you to this place, and like as much as like, endurance, like running or like training in general is physical, but it's also very mental. Like all these like self-doubts and like really like personal, like everything that's like deep inside will like come out during the trainings.
Then how?
Then just run more. Like,
how do you overcome it? Like, do you have to talk yourself out of it?
Yeah. Like a lot of like, especially hard sessions, a lot of it is just your self-talk. And then not all the time your self-talk is going to be good, especially when things get hard.
Nat, if you want to know, sign up for that marathon right now.
Yeah.
Sign up for it.
Just hold on, guys. Let me just use the internet to sign up.
You will know the answer.
Well, I've seen videos of people at marathons and they do not look like they're having a good time. Sorry. It just like I've seen people like with chafed skin and
Your
they're
spirit
bleeding.
leaves you.
Sorry,
Your spirit leaves you.
Yeah, it's like people like dehydrated and then there's like people bleeding out and then I was like, what's going on, guys? Like, do we need to do this? But I guess, yeah. I mean, do you have like any stories of these things happening to you guys? Yeah. Also, how do you pee when you're like running 42 kilometers? You just go?
I mean, if you're really going for timing, you pee yourself. You pee on yourself as you're on the move. It takes practice, apparently. You just let it go.
No. I think once you start and you start feeling these things, you just don't care. Like,
oh no, okay, but serious question. If you're running a marathon, can you like tap out and say, hey, I need to go toilet, then I come back?
I mean, there are like cubicles on the side. You can, like every kilometer, there's always like cubicles. It's very accommodating. Yeah. If you're hungry also at the side, sometimes they'll have like bananas.
Oh, so do people stop to eat or they just eat and run and then they throw the banana? Because I've seen people like throw the cups.
Really?
Yeah, but
yeah, you can stop or you can like continue with it. Depends.
okay. In my head, everybody's running, like just running continuously. But
You do want to keep moving forward. I mean, you also don't want to prolong your suffering on the course. Yeah.
it's just incredible. Like, is it about the human spirit versus like the physical, how much you can do physically, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I think that's the amazing part, that people just push it a little bit mental, but like, what do you think about how you got into the game and where do you want to go? Like, after you've already accomplished so much with your personal, your physical game, right? What else is there left to do?
I think I find a lot of joy and purpose in helping people discover their own passion and their own why when it comes to joining these kind of crazy events, right? And once they get hooked, they keep coming back. They love it, right? They're always, they always say this, when you're doing a marathon and you are suffering, you question why you signed up for it. But then the moment you cross that finishing line and you get the high, the following day, your phone's out and you are already looking for the next race that you're going to go for. And it's true. Yeah. So with the athletes I coach, same thing, right? Industry secret. So when they cross the finishing line, I just keep quiet. Because later on, I go like, coach, I actually signed up for this. I need your help to prepare for it. All right, fantastic. Let's go.
Yeah. I think like even during races, you're like having the worst time of your life. It's like as soon as you cross that finish line, you're like, let's do it again. It's really, it becomes like that. Like it starts from like 5K, 10K, half. Then you think to yourself, it's like, oh, I think that was fine. I feel great now. I'm still alive. I can go for a full. Then yeah, I think that's what keeps you like coming back to see like how far you can go.
Well, let's talk about injuries, because what is the downside of this sport or hobby that you want to keep chasing it? But when does downtime happen? Is it only when an injury happens? And what kind of injuries are we talking about that could possibly happen?
Yeah, actually, after my first marathon, I think the distance was like a little bit too much. So I had like a shin injury and I was out like for, I think, 2 months. And it was like, I felt that was like the worst time of my life.
The 2 months?
Yeah.
Because?
Where I wasn't like running or like doing anything. Yeah. And I think like that's when I knew like running became like sort of like a central part of my life that like, oh, I had to do it. Yeah. So I think that was a little bit of a downtime. And I think that was also something that I didn't get quite right. This doesn't matter how fast or like how like long you can run, you know, like all these things. Like if you think that you're getting super strong, it's actually very like humbling. Like running that much distance, it's always hard.
Yeah. I mean, the global statistics is that I think less than 2% of the human population has ever ran a marathon, right? So there's nothing normal about running a marathon, right? If you understand the history of how the marathon came about, which war was it? That a messenger was given the task by his military to run back to Athens to report the news that the war is over. When he ran back to his kingdom and reported to his kingdom that, oh, the war is won or the war is over, he collapsed and he died. And that distance was 42 kilometers, right? So there's nothing normal about running 42 kilometers.
If someone dies at the end of it.
Yeah, I know. So people do it on a regular basis now and make it look very normal. So if you push the boundaries a little bit too much, right, and you push the progression a little bit too much and the intensity a little bit too quick, and you don't let your body rest and recover a little bit, yeah, injury and overtraining is very real, right? So to answer your question, like my job is to help athletes plan out that progression, right? You want to have periods of high because training is kind of like a stimulus. You train your body, but then you need periods of low as well for the body to just rest, recover, so it's ready to take on the next kind of bulk of training, the next phase, right? But if you're too gung-ho and you just go week on week, month on month, just training up for that big race that you have signed up for, yes, a lot of people do get hurt because they're a little bit too eager. Yes.
Okay, I hear you. So as for people watching this, and if they are like me, who just keeps thinking about running but never does it, you know, where would you suggest they start?
A running club.
Really?
Yeah.
Buy
Not
new
buying
pair
the
of
shoes?
I think, yeah, buy the pair of shoes. As soon as you put it on and get out the door, that's the work done, I feel. I think that's the hardest part to start. It's just getting out the door and just hitting the pavement.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I have the list of excuses. If anybody wants, I have the list of excuses for why you can't get out of the door. But, you know, yes.
Pay a coach for it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How does the coach help?
Well, you already spend the money, right? Like your hard-earned money. Here, give me guidance, help me towards that marathon. If that works for some individuals, right? But then I guess having a community works for other people, right? Showing up at a community and then having people to keep you accountable for, showing up and seeing your friends as a form of socializing at the same time you run. That's a good way to go about it as well, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you want to start small. If you're a couch potato or you never ran, start by lacing up exactly what Mel said and go out and just go for like an easy walk. Before you know it, you start picking up. It's the habit. Yeah, it is the habit.
Do I need to change anything else about my lifestyle if I get into the running game?
I think running revolves around your life. Yeah, so I always tell my athlete, it's this crazy hobby that we have embarked on, but we also want to make sure that our life is still in, our daily lives are still centered, right? And we use running to enhance that. So, I mean, running is the easiest form of exercise. You don't have to drive to go to a swimming pool or prepare your bicycle and put on your helmet. You just slip on your shoe and out the door, you're ready to go. Actually, it's actually quite an easy form of
Yeah, I think
exercise.
it's the most like accessible sport. I feel like you don't need a lot; you just need a pair of running shoes, and you don't have to. It's running is also a free sport, you know. I mean, even though like I know some people they spend like hundreds on like cute running outfits and shoes, but yeah, it's like anyone can do it.
Yeah.
You sometimes got to do it for the gram. Because I think that keeps you accountable as well.
Yeah,
Like, you know, you can't just do it once. You got to, you know, keep it up, right? All right. Okay. On that note, thank you very much for sharing your experiences with running. But I'm going to be walking for now, but I'm going to rewatch this episode and then sign up for a marathon maybe after this. Well, that's it from the usual place today. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, like, subscribe, or hit the notification bell to get fresh content. But also tell me in the comment section how you feel about running, joining run clubs, or even high performance events. Now you can catch the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on the ST app. I'll see you soon at the usual place.
Yeah.